Have you ever noticed how every grocery store in America suddenly went green? Walk into any Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. You're surrounded by craft paper packaging, pictures of farmers in straw hats, and that one magic word, natural. We've been trained to trust it. We'll pay 40, 60, even 100% more for that little green leaf on the label. We think we're buying health. But here's the truth. In the United States, the word natural is the biggest legal loophole in the history of the food industry. Today, we're ripping the mask off. I'm going to walk you through 13 levels of marketing hell. We're breaking down products that are sitting on your shelves right now and showing exactly how big food turns chemical cocktails into gifts from nature. The last item on this list is so insane, it ended up in federal court. After this, you will never look at food the same way again. Fact number 1, natural veggie chips, the health illusion. Let's start with the classic snack, veggie chips, baked, not fried, non-GMO. You're thinking, hey, it's just dried beets and sweet potato? Check the label. In most top-selling US brands, actual vegetable powder makes up roughly 10% of the product. The rest? Cornstarch, potato flour, and a whole lot of palm oil. Why do they taste so good? Because they throw in yeast extract. Sounds natural enough to your brain, but technically, that's hidden MSG. And here's the kicker. A 2019 study found that because these healthy chips are baked at extreme high temperatures to get that perfect crunch, their acrylamide levels, a known carcinogen, were 20% higher than regular Lay's. You're paying 3 times as much for refined starch with extra cancer risk. Fact number 2, organic dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is basically the holy grail for the fitness crowd. Antioxidants, flavonoids, especially when it's got that organic label. But in 2022, Consumer Reports ran a major study on 28 popular US chocolate brands. The verdict? Dangerous levels of cadmium and lead showed up in nearly every single sample, including the expensive organic stuff. Cadmium gets absorbed into cacao beans straight from the soil, and organic farms often don't have the technology to filter it out. These metals don't flush out of your body. They hammer your kidneys and break down your bones. And that fair trade stamp, in a lot of cases, it's just a purchased certification while child labor keeps running wide open on Ivory Coast plantations. Your clean chocolate is soaked in lead and injustice. Fact number 3, cold-pressed coconut oil. 10 years ago, marketers had us convinced this was the fountain of youth. Natural, cold-pressed. We started dumping it in coffee, cooking with it, slathering it on our faces. Then, in 2017, the American Heart Association dropped a report that broke the internet. Coconut oil is 82% saturated fat. For context, butter is 63%. Lard is only 39%. And here's the manufacturing dirty little secret. If the oil isn't labeled virgin, producers run it through hexane, a petroleum-derived solvent, to squeeze every last drop out of the coconut. Oh, and in Thailand, monkeys kept on chains are still used to harvest coconuts. This isn't a product of nature. It's a product of brutal exploitation and sketchy chemistry. Fact number 4, store-bought smoothies, 100% fruit, 0 added sugar. This is the most successful con job in the history of beverages. When you see a smoothie in a plastic bottle with a shelf life of a month, it's dead. To keep it from spoiling, it goes through flash pasteurization, instant heat up to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. Every enzyme, most of the vitamins, gone. But the real fun part is the sugar. When you pulverize fruit, you destroy the fiber. What's left is pure liquid fructose. A standard 15.2 ounce bottle packs about 50 grams of sugar. That's 12 teaspoons, more than a can of Coke. Your natural detox is a one-way ticket to fatty liver disease and type 2 diabetes. Fact number 5, Farmhouse butter from a small farm. We picture a cow grazing on a hillside in Vermont. But in reality, the US butter market is a battlefield. Up to 30% of product in this category is counterfeit. And even if it's legitimately pure cream, there's still RBST to worry about. Recombinant bovine growth hormone, courtesy of Monsanto. It gets injected into cows to boost milk production. Banned in Europe and Canada. Totally legal in the US. If your butter doesn't say RBST free, congratulations. You're eating a hormone cocktail. And don't forget the antibiotics. Cows on factory farms get tetracycline as a routine preventative, and traces of it consistently turn up in all natural butter. Fact number 6, free-range eggs. The words cage-free or free-range make us feel like we're doing the right thing. We picture chickens wandering around in a sunny field. Here's how US law actually defines free-range. The bird must have access to the outdoors. That can mean a 6 by 6 foot concrete slab at the far end of a massive warehouse packed with thousands of chickens, most of which never find the exit. And about that yolk color, we've been trained to believe a deep orange yolk means a healthy, happy hen. Producers know this, so they add synthetic pigments to the feed, canthaxanthin or astaxanthin. It's literally food dye, designed to make you think that bird was out there eating fresh grass when it was really eating cheap soybean meal. Fact number 7, granola and muesli. Granola is king of breakfast in every hipster coffee shop from Silver Lake to Brooklyn. Whole grains, honey, nuts. But look at how it's actually made. Most granola goes through extrusion. Grain gets hit with 20 atmospheres of pressure and a flash of intense heat. That completely restructures the carbohydrates. The glycemic index of your healthy breakfast shoots up to 85. That's the same as white bread or straight sugar. A 2019 UK study found that some organic mueslis had more sugar than glazed kids' cereals. You're starting your morning with an insulin spike dressed up in a picture of an oat field. Fact number 8, Italian extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil extra virgin, the symbol of the Mediterranean diet. The bottle says, product of Italy. Forbes and the New York Times have been covering the agro-mafia for years. Up to 70% of olive oil sold in the US as Italian is fake. The scam is simple. Cheap oil from Tunisia, Morocco, or Greece gets shipped to Italy. Blended with a splash of the local stuff, bottled up, and the law allows them to print packed in Italy. Sometimes they even tint it with chlorophyll to make it look green and authentic. You're paying $20 for a bottle of sunflower or soybean oil with flavoring. Fact number 9, cottage cheese and soft cheeses. Cottage cheese is a bodybuilder staple, beloved for its casein content. Pure protein, right? But in the race for texture and shelf life, producers cut some corners you'd rather not know about. To keep the curds thick and prevent separation, they load it up with modified starch and gar gum. But the really sketchy part is the preservatives. Potassium sorbate, E2O2, is officially generally recognized as safe. But recent research has flagged genotoxicity with long-term use. On the label, it might just say to preserve freshness. You think you're eating protein. You're eating a starchy paste with preservatives. Fact number 10, protein bars, the healthy on-the-go snack. But flip that thing over and look at the ingredients. Usually 40 to 50 items deep. The base protein? Soy isolate. To extract that protein from soybeans, it gets washed in hexane and processed with acids. In 2018, the Clean Label Project tested hundreds of protein bars and found heavy metals, mercury, arsenic, in 40% of them. And almost every natural bar contains sugar alcohols like erythritol or maltitol that will tear your gut apart. This isn't food for athletes. This is high-tech candy garbage cosplaying as sports nutrition. Fact number 11, organic baby food. This one hurts the most. Every parent in America will spend whatever it takes to buy a jar with that USDA organic label for their kid. In 2021, a U.S. House subcommittee released a bombshell report. In baby food, from the biggest brands, including their organic lines, they found dangerous levels of toxic heavy metals, arsenic, lead, cadmium, mercury. How did they get there? Pesticides in the soil. Organic certification doesn't guarantee clean soil. It only prohibits new chemicals. These companies knew about the metal levels. They kept selling it anyway, wrapped in the packaging of pure, natural care. Fact number 12, bottled spring water. We buy bottled water because we don't trust the tap. Spring water with a picture of a glacier on the label. According to the NRDC, roughly 25% of bottled water sold in the US is just filtered tap water. Pepsi, Aquafina, and Nestle have admitted it for years, but the water itself isn't even the real problem. The plastic is. A 2018 study found microplastics in 93% of bottled water tested. On average, 325 particles per liter. Every time you drink that natural water, you're swallowing microscopic bits of polypropylene and nylon. Plastic is now a featured ingredient in your clean water. Fact number 13, the great peanut butter lie. We've saved the best for last, an American breakfast icon, peanut butter, 100% peanuts. No added sugar. In 2018, something wild happened in US courts. Consumers filed a lawsuit against an industry giant. The jar said 100% natural, but inside there was sugar, palm oil, and anti-caking agents. You know what the company's lawyers argued? They told the court that 100% natural peanuts was a subjective description of flavor, not an ingredient list, and the federal court sided with them. Now here's the really dark part. Peanuts aren't even a nut. They're a legume that grows underground, making them extremely susceptible to mold that produces aflatoxins. These are among the most potent carcinogens known to science, and they cause liver cancer. In natural peanut butter with no preservatives, aflatoxin levels often go through the roof because there's no chemistry to suppress the fungus. When you choose natural, you might actually be choosing a deadly mold. Friends, in 2026, the word natural on a package is not a quality promise. It's just a font you're paying extra for. Big Food spends billions engineering your eyeballs and your brain. The only way to protect yourself? Stop reading the flashy front of the package. Flip it over, read the fine print. If there are more than 5 ingredients or words you can't pronounce, that's not natural. Which of these 13 facts pissed you off the most? Personally, after the peanut butter story, I threw out 3 jars. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this video hit different, smash that like button and subscribe. Next episode, we're covering the products that are actually worth buying in the US.